Hi, I'm here with Leanne Kessler from the Floral Design Institute in Portland, formerly in Seattle. And Leanne, you educate the next generation of floral designers all over the Northwest, right?
We do. We are a training center
Okay.
for people that want to come into Portland to go to school, or we have a home study that's all done on a DVD format for people all over the world that
Wow.
want to join the world of floral design.
How many designers have you educated in your career?
Oh my gosh, and then we have thousands. It's kind of amazing. We're a little tiny school in reality. There's only 12 students at a time.
Wow.
But we started in 1969.
Wow.
And then it has evolved over the years from the traditional mom and pop into the larger stores when it really went gangbusters, and now we're going full cycle back to kind of a mom and pop format, but with the updated of the younger generation.
So kind of like the studio florist, somebody who maybe doesn't have retail.
Yeah, a lot of studio, a lot of home-based, a lot of alternative. Maybe they're strictly on the internet and then have a warehouse.
Okay.
Maybe they work within a larger facility and then deliver out. Lots of different options.
Wow. And so kind of being like as if you were on Project Runway teaching fashion designers, you're seeing where designs are going in the floral industry. And I'm just interested to hear what you kind of think are the, maybe, I don't hate to use the word trend, but kind of what the big movements are for these young students.
You know, it is fascinating because we do get to see the new stuff as it comes through, the new approaches and the new ideas. And it really keeps us on our toes, because if we do the same old, it's dying. And it's kind of sad to say, but the floral industry is going through a transition where we're going to see some things fade and die off and other things new come in. But the reality is floral consumption is out. People are buying flowers, they're just buying them differently and from a different thing. And I think it's not just a trend, I think it's a whole paradigm shift where they are moving from buying from a large store that can do everything to them to buying from a niche that really focuses on their specific needs, almost going back to the 20s and 30s and early 40s where it was direct from the provider and a much more handcrafted. And it's really a romantic way of thinking about floral design, but we've come full circle back to where it's grown by yourself or by someone that you know, buying it direct from the farmer with good growing practices, and then interpreting the customer's needs exactly what they want and bringing it in and having a full relationship in that purchase as opposed to just an invisible provider.
Okay.
I find the floral design world being absolutely fabulous right now. You'll hear goods and bads, but my goodness, I love the transition and I love the personalization that's happening. It's almost like we are fragmenting and getting smaller as opposed to the consolidation getting bigger, which is still there in some forms with the big box stores, but so much of the world now is buying flowers in that more fragmented format, which allows for more people.
And more personal relationship with your designer.
Way more personal. It makes it so much fun to really know who you're buying from.
Yeah. Well, I think it's almost like an artisan approach or a curator of flowers approach that I'm seeing too.
Very much so, and you can translate it out into other industries with the cheesemakers, more and more independent people. The individual organic farms growing the lettuces that you have to have, or maybe it's actually the person that's raising the pigs that you buy directly from. For the wineries and vineyards, everything is kind of evolving into this artisan approach, and floral is no different than the rest of the world.
So are your students coming to you understanding the difference between maybe conventionally grown and sustainably grown, or do you have to kind of show them those options?
The idea that they should be responsible purveyors of flowers, but they're not quite sure what that means. And so it's a combination of they come in with a desire of having a holistic approach to floral design, and then we help provide them with the knowledge of what options are out there and how many different things, and is it organic, or is it sustainable, or is it completely just fair trade, or is it just locally grown, so it's a smaller footprint because of transportation, and what aspects really make sense in a product that is quite seasonal. And so how do you adapt to your desires for being perfect and the reality of the marketplace and merge the two?
Oh, that's great. So do you get asked for what's the next hot flower or what's the next hot color? I'd love to know what you get your, it's the end of 2010, so.
I know know, and
What-
2011 is around the
Yeah,
corner.
so get your crystal ball out.
I
What
know,
would you?
what is going to be coming up? And it is interesting because we go through such cycles. You know, the Casablanca lily was the flower for so long, and thank goodness it's gone. Then it was the Gerber daisy, and thank goodness it's gone. But they're not gone. We still love them. And
Yeah.
we need them. But what is next? And I really think it's going to be more of the wild garden flowers, more of the locally field grown. And of course the rose is always going to be there. People
Yeah.
can't give up the rose, but with maybe more of the garden varieties, the spray varieties, the alternate colors that gives it kind of a feel of grandma's house.
Right.
Anything that makes you think of going to grandma's, the peony bushes, the lilacs, the snowball viburnum. I think that's kind of where we're heading.
Oh,
So as
that's
opposed
great.
to one flower, a family of flowers.
I love every one of those flowers that you've predicted.
Isn't that fun?
And then in terms of the palette, you know, orange was so hot, and I know that was in everything from kitchen products to fashion to flowers, but I bet you're seeing some different colors emerge.
Orange is still there, but it's getting a little more yellowed, almost
Okay.
a goldenrod. The flower or color of the year last year with turquoise, I don't think ever hit the flower market as much, because what do you do in turquoise?
Vases, I guess,
But
maybe.
the greens and such, I think you're going to see a lot more of the greens coming in, and the purest of the whites. Oh my gosh. So I'm not seeing a single color spectrum. I'm seeing like a warm palette
Yep.
with blues and greens, and then a cool palette. Actually, reverse those. A
Yeah.
cool palette with the blues and greens,
Yeah.
and a warm palette with the oranges leaning to the yellows as opposed to oranges leaning to reds.
Yeah.
And then a more pure, what I call cityscape, with taupes, ivories, grays, slates.
More contemporary.
blacks. Yeah.
Wow.
And then you can even put in a fourth one of just the retro hot colors, because that's always there. And it'll be interesting to see if a single color stands out, because I see it more as families that are coming in, more diversity
Yeah,
of color as
that makes
opposed to a
sense.
focused color.
Well, I just loved speaking with you. I know we're going to follow what you're doing and have some good conversations in the future. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck with the book.
Oh,
I think it's going to be
thanks.
grand.
Oh, thanks.